We will be talking about Luma Energy. This is the organization we selected. The group members of the project will be Gonzalo Iglesias, Monica Jorge Berlagiri, John Piazza, and Robert Vargas. My topic was to analyze an issue and to expand upon that issue, in which the organization brings forth with its contract. I personally was able to go to a protest of Luma in the capital of Puerto Rico in Viejo San Juan and able to witness some of the reasons as towards why these employees or protesters were mad. I found one of the main reasons was that employees of the AEE, which was the former company that was being dissolved or taken over by Luma, were laid off by Luma, and if they wanted their old positions, they had to go through an application and interview process once again. And in even some extreme cases, they would apply for the same positions knowing they would have less benefits and or less pays. And in some very extreme situations, Luma would already fill those older job positions, and they would have to apply to lower job positions than their former ones, or altogether leave the island. And its contract imposed a serious issue if Puerto Rico faced another natural disaster, such as the likes of Maria. This company could willingly get up and leave the situation as they wanted, therefore abandoning the island in its most dire need of time. This imposed a serious ethical issue as the values of the company were seriously brought forward, considering it was a company that required required it was a company that provided services towards its people as its main component, considering it was an electric company that was privatized. One would consider that its main goal would be to um, provide the service it is requiring the people. Luma can also avoid 100% renewable energy goals and saving promises due to no written promises in the contract. In this way, Luma Energy LLC is creating a major ethical issue with regards to the environment, since it is, again, as stated, it does not have to comply with renewable energy. This agency also wants to rebuild a complete electric grid, and therefore the cost of electricity on the island would go up. This would also pose a serious ethical issue, as the costs of electricity are already among the highest compared to other states in the U.S. Um, this would be a serious issue, as cost of living within the island would automatically go up for an electric grid that the company already has enough money to solve, or is being given enough annual money or funds to solve. They just want to get a profit out of the situation. The employees that did occupy or Luma decided to appoint to certain positions were seen in official documents to not only being paid absurd amounts of money for their positions and compensation, but also in the form of monthly documents were stated to work 100 plus 40 hours in schedules that did not even have enough hours to fulfill. For example, these employees would schedule they work 28 hours into a 24-hour workday shift. This also posed a serious ethical issue, as they were very much lying about their time reports. The main issue we were able to examine personally and was in that of the memorandum. The main issue I was able to view and expand upon of the project was that of the memorandum of the legal contract of the AEE with Luma. Here we were able to explore the table of contents of the contract, and in its context are able to view, as stated, that this contract or formation of this energy group ultimately was considered to be that of the contract being stated to be leonino, or unjust, abusive, or exaggerated. This meant that the formation or signing of this contract will bring no benefits to the Puerto Rican people. It could go on to state that in its memorandum that these type of contracts only are beneficial to certain parties of the contract. Inside the memorandum's page 32, Part A, we are able to further examine how this contract clearly indicates to us that the contract will bring absolutely no benefits with regards to public policy. This clearly states a huge ethical issue, as the whole formation of this company was based off to only benefit the people within that industry or the government itself. It provides absolutely no benefit to the Puerto Rican people, considering this is considered critical due to the fact that this company's entire purpose is to provide a service to the society or the community in this case, which are the Puerto Rican people, and it is not doing that. Potential suggestions to the problems mentioned either in the protest or the main one that was covered. I believe that one simple suggestion was that instead of developing a contract that states it won't bring any benefits to public policy, potentially please the people it will make all the money from. In other words, treat us correctly and provide the necessary improvements or service to our electric grid before taking our charges or simply not providing any benefits towards the general public. For example, it is stated in the memorandum that the annual income provided to them in the form of $125 million, they could instead commit some of these funds to potentially fixing some of the island's power grid issues or other issues mentioned beforehand. Um, they could also prepare themselves for another disaster on the levels of Maria in order to have an electric grid that is better prepared to help people during this dire time of need. Other examples with regards to the main issue we are able to view is that of Luma quickly and intelligently dissociating themselves from the AEE. That is all right and understood, but to some extent they have to take the responsibility for this type of system they inherit, which is what we can see in this case. Other suggestions towards potentially correcting this company's contract or format with regards to bettering it for society or public policy is that they could attempt to fix all the issues mentioned beforehand, or attempt to fix or implement changes that would fix most, if not some, of those issues that were mentioned beforehand, whether it be from the protest or the main issue we are able to examine and expand upon the project. Other suggestions to the issues mentioned would be an increase or define the proper role of PREPA, as well as provide some incentive or force this contract to be written to provide these goals or objectives with regards to the company not having to provide any renewable energies, as this poses a serious environmental issue and should be treated with the utmost priority. It is imperative for the contract or the memorandum to change in order to provide a benefit to society or the Puerto Rican people moving forward. This company, whose purpose is to provide a service to the people of the island, should prioritize doing that before trying to make a profit out of the same people they are trying to take an advantage of, in which a situation that exploits them due to the power grid. I believe there should be a change after being able to view this in much detail, and it is unfair and unjust, especially in a personal or first-hand experience, being able to see the protests and all the people and how they truly felt about the company and the corporation, and how they were able to expand upon the issues not only faced by them personally, but to the Puerto Rican society as a whole. We were able to see these, I was able personally to see these firsthand, as mentioned, with the protests in the capital, as well as advertisements throughout the island. And I was able to also expand upon that due to research of the company, in which I was able to choose and examine the memorandum, which is the contract made in which Luma took over. I believe that this company poses a serious issue moving forward, and it is a terrible contract as usual for that of the Puerto Rican people, but a great one for the government. They should prioritize their values, as this poses a serious ethical issue from many regards, whether it be environmental, community, the people itself. It should be fixed, and it should be treated with the utmost importance, as the Puerto Rican people have suffered and have been exploited enough when it comes to regards to electricity. Thank you. If any questions, please let me know.